Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Vikram. In this class, we'll try to understand implementation of interrupt-driven I/O mechanism. In our previous class, we have understood the interrupt-driven I/O mechanism, the concept of interrupt-driven I/O mechanism. The understanding of interrupt-driven I/O mechanism has been clearly made in our previous video. If you haven't watched that video, please watch that video and come back here. And every video in our channel is going to be a part of entire course or a playlist. Our suggestion is to follow the entire course so that you can have better understanding of the concepts. And the link for the playlist is provided in the description below. Now coming to this class, so the concepts, this flowchart has been discussed in our previous video. So we will try to understand the logic behind this R. So how this R is going to be 1, that we will try to understand. So the logic is if the timing signals are not T0, T1, T2. So not T0, T1, T2 means T0, T1, T2 timing signals are the signals where the fetch and decode operations are made. Whenever the fetch and decode operations are made, we are not going to check, we are not going to make this R value as 1. So T3, T4, T5, T6 values in those timing signals. So in the execute phase of the instruction, so we have to check whether the timing signal are in that execution phase or not. Not T0, T1, T2 means the signal should not be T0, T1, T2. So if all these are ones, and so this is an AND operation, and interrupt enable is 1. Interrupt enable is 1 means we are in the execution, we are executing an user program. Interrupt enable is 0 means we are in the super mode in the sense the programs which are related to the IO is getting executed. So the system should not be interrupted. So interrupt enable is off means the system should not be interrupted. If interrupt enable is on, and so FGI or FGO, if any of these two are on, or if both of them are on, then only we are going to make R is equal to 1. So the hardware for this is, so this AND gate is for interrupt enable, and OR gate. So we are going to combine all this. So this OR gate is going to give FGI, FGO, and the other one is so all these are connected to an AND gate. So AND gate, okay, so this is an AND gate, so assume that. And the next one which is getting connected to this AND gate is T0, not T0, not T1. So I'm just roughly making you to understand that. So all these are connected to this AND gate. So the outputs of these gates are getting connected. So if this is true, this is true, this is true, all these are true, then only we can make this R to 1. So this R can be made to 1. So whenever the R is 1, the interrupt cycle is getting executed. So we haven't discussed anything about interrupt cycle in our previous video. So there we have said that in the next video we are going to cover this interrupt cycle. So what this interrupt cycle is, so which means that we are in the interrupt cycle means IO operation has been requested. So what is this interrupt cycle is, what happens here is store return address in location 0. So return address has to be stored onto the location 0. So memory of 0 is equal to program counter. Let's try to understand this concept by using this example. Here the main program, the user program is getting executed, and we have executed this 255. So in the process of executing this 255, some interrupt has been enabled. So in the execution, so the next instruction that needs to be executed is 256. So the program counter is already loaded with 256. Okay, so now what we have to do here, the interrupt has occurred in 255 execution, the interrupt has occurred and R is made to 1. We have come to interrupt cycle. So what we have to do, so do we have to execute this 256? No. So the interrupt program has to be executed. So this part of the memory location has to be executed. Okay. So now The next instruction to be executed is 256. What we have to do is we have to save this return address. So where we have to save this return address? In the 0th location. So in the 0th location 256 has been saved. So the program counter has been changed to 0. So the 256 has been saved in this 0th location, and the next instruction to be executed is PC is equal to 1. What is this PC is equal to 1? This is fixed. So it is going to have this program, this instruction, which is branch unconditional 1120. So we are going to unconditionally move to the location 1120. So what this 1120 consists of? It consists of IO program. See here, branch to location PC. So PC is made 1. So 1 is stored in the PC, and in the last step we are going to make interrupt enable 0. So whenever we are here, so before going here, we have to make this interrupt enable to 0 and R is equal to 0. Why interrupt enable has to be made to 0? Why it has to be made 0 is, we are executing IO program. It is also a program. It has to be executed on the CPU. So this is also a program, but this is in super mode. This is in super mode. Super mode means we are executing the instructions which are related to the computer, so the interrupt should not happen. In order to make that happen, we have to do interrupt enable to 0. So the interrupt enable has to be made to 0 and R has to be made to 0. As we are shifting to instruction, so the next R is made to 0 means the instruction has to be, we are in the instruction cycle. What instruction has to be executed? The instruction in 1120 has to be executed, as it is programmed, but it is in super mode, so the instructions will get executed. So while executing that program, IO program, the interrupt enable will never be made to 0. Will never be made to 0. So at the end of this instruction, what happens is, so at the end of this, before completing this program, so after completing this IO program, what happens is interrupt enable is made to 1. Interrupt enable is made to 1. So as we have completed all our IO instructions, now we can make interrupt enable to 1, which means that we are shifting from super mode to user mode. So which one has to be executed? This one has to be executed. So this line will get executed, and after that this instruction will get executed. So what is this last instruction? Branch unconditional 0, and it is indirect address mode. Branch unconditional 0 means we have to shift back to 0th location, and this is indirect address mode. So what is the address that we have? In order to get the effective address, we have to go to this location. So there the next instruction of the program will get, here we have left our program at 255, so the next instruction that needs to be executed is 256. So at the end of this IO program, interrupt enable is made to 1 and branch unconditional will be done, and from here we are going to execute our next user program, instruction of the program. Okay, so this is how the things, without the programmed IO, without wasting the CPU's time, the execution of the instructions will help us. So let's try to see the what we call it as register reference instructions. Register reference instructions in so these are the instructions when R is equal to 1. See here, in the time T01 in the interrupt cycle, this one will get executed, this one T1, this one will get executed, T2, this one will execute. So the sequence of steps that needs to be done to execute all these steps. So in order to execute all these steps, in the T0 what has to be done? Address register has to be made to 0. So address register is now stored with the location 0. So what we have in the 0th location, it's empty. So let's bring it down. Okay, 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 so now address register is made 0 and program counter value is stored into temporary register. So what is the program counter value? It is 256. Temporary register is stored with 256. So far we haven't used the temporary register, so here we are using this temporary register which is stored with program counter. So program counter is having 256. Here we stopped our execution, we are in the interrupt cycle, so these steps has to be done. So these steps are happening here. So in T1 R is equal to true and T1. So far T0, T1, T2 we didn't have the concept of R, but we have introduced the concept of R from here. So now the temporary register value, the value stored in temporary register is 256, is now stored in memory location with address register 0. So 256 is stored in address memory location 0. Next, program counter is made 0. So the program counter, previously it is having 256, now it is made 0. So the next instruction to be executed is program counter plus 1. So which is okay, so in T2 R1, so the program counter will get incremented, so the PC is equal to 1, so 0 will be stored with 1, and in parallel it is going to do IEN is equal to 0. So interrupt enable is made 0. See here, interrupt enable is made 0. This point is important. Why this interrupt enable is made 0 is we are in the instructions interrupt cycle. We are going to execute IO operations which are to be executed in super mode. In the sense, it is these are the programs which are related to the IO operations, interrupt operations. IN is made 0, R is made 0, sequence counter is made 0. Sequence counter is made 0 because our execution is going to start from here with this branch and conditional statement. So here again the programs will get executed in sequence. At last IEN is made 1. So in the last part of the program is going to have IEN is going to 1 and branch and conditional 0. So the next 256 will get executed. Okay, so this is how the interrupt enable mechanism can be implemented on our basic computer. Hope you got the clarity on this concept. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. And if you have any doubts regarding these concepts, please post your doubts in the comment section below. And if you feel that this video is helpful to you, please give us a like symbol and please share this video with your friends so that they will also get benefited. Thanks for watching.